The main target of the amendments fronted by Busia woman representative Florence Mutua are perverts and sex pests who, if the bill says through, could find themselves languishing in jail for up to 5 years.
Mr. Speaker, first and foremost,
the proposed changes will expand the scope of sex-related offences from the list in the Sex Offences Act, better known as the Njoki Ndungu Act, to include unlawful intentional act which causes any contact between any part of the body of a person with the genital organs of another, but does not include an act that causes penetration. In social places like clubs, fondlers are common, always taking advantage of revelers.
The issue of the ferry comes to mind, where women have been complaining in the ferry that is in Mombasa. When they are crossing and they're in the ferry, people come and men rather come and stand behind them and do indecent acts, and they have no way to report because that indecent act is not in the law.
But what is likely to attract attention to the bill, especially from men, is criminalizing common habits that many take for granted. Exposure of one's breasts, genital organs, buttocks, winking, or even showing pornographic materials to an unwilling person amounts to sexual offense, according to the bill.
Winking is very common in the streets, in the marketplaces. These are actually sexual offenses.
Even as you crisscross each other, they want to maybe make sure that their bodies have touched your breast. This again is a sexual offense because it is a deliberate move.
Mutua's proposals also seek to punish anyone who looks at the opposite gender lustfully. Offenders risk 5 years in jail if convicted. And to make more painful, the amendments suggest denying offenders the option of an out-of-court settlement with their victims.
Some people engage in out-of-court negotiations, and the beneficiaries mostly are the caretakers.
Indecent assault is two-way, that it does not originate from men only but also from women.
The bill also targets harassment of women in public places, including public transport, clubs and other social gatherings. For instance, it will be criminal to indecently make contact with the opposite sex in a matatu or even a ferry, notwithstanding the congestion.
I gave the example of people traveling in a ferry, and that the instances of people being touched on, or I don't know, those are they exposed? Because unless they are nude.
Like when you look at the train that normally come from Maradaima to town, if the driver applied brakes, obviously people must meet, and you cannot avoid that.
The bill also proposes that a special police wing dealing with sexual offences be trained. Stephen Letoo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.